Hey yo, and what's up, gang? Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel once again. We've got more breaking news. We've got more competitors being announced for the Mae Young Classic. We have got Cody Rhodes making history in Ring of Honor. We also have a former WWE superstar who has been out injured making his return at a local house show. And what the hell is going on with Alberto Del Rio and Paige? All that and so much more right here, right now on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it.
Hey guys, this is Velvet Sky, and this is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show with Nick Nightmare, right here on Sledgehammer TV. Oh yeah.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Holy shit, check that out. Did you see that? Did you see what I just saw? That was none other than former TNA Knockout Heavyweight Champion, TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion, founding member of the Beautiful People, the one, the only Miss Velvet Sky, who has done a beautiful job recording a nice little promo spot for us right here on Sledgehammer TV, and we cannot thank her enough. It's absolutely beautiful. I edited it into that little piece that you see right there. I didn't cut anything. You know, everything that she said is as is. I just put all the little fun stuff around it to make it cool, and I put the theme song behind it because I was so excited to get it. I wanted to put it up by itself, but I wanted to leave it as a special surprise for anybody who's tuning in to today's episode of Breaking News right here. As the beautiful lady said, on Sledgehammer TV, this is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. I am the Nick Nightmare she was talking about, and we are going to get down to business today. Velvet Sky, such an awesome lady. And I'll tell you some more about some awesome ladies, because we are going to talk about the first 12 names announced for the Mae Young Classic. The anticipation for the WWE inaugural Mae Young Classic continues to grow with the announcement of 5 more entrants into the tournament, as first reported by ESPN.com. Let's go over these quickly because we have way more than 5 names to talk about. First off, third-generation wrestler Tessa Blanchard. That is a very exciting name to have added to the list. I love me some second-generation, third-generation superstars. If they are attached to anybody that I watched in my childhood, I'm rooting for them 100%. Right away, she is my favorite just because of who she is. I can't wait to see what she brings to this tournament. It's going to be fantastic. Hard-hitting veteran Abby Lath. The black belt in Judokai Tainara Kanti. International bruiser Jazzy Gabert. And the great Kali's protege, Kavita Devi. They are the latest additions to the Mae Young Classic, which will be screaming. Yes, it will be screaming. It'll be screaming hot with action and screaming hot with thrills and chills and, well, I might be overselling it a little bit. Let's hope for all these things. But it's not going to be screaming. It's going to be streaming live on the WWE Network, as we all know. There were also 2 Mae Young Classic qualifying matches at an NXT TV taping last week. Now, spoiler alert here, maybe, because I don't even know if they're going to air this on NXT. But it does beg the question, why are they not doing qualifying matches for each and every one of the people in this tournament? Why are some people just being named to the tournament and others are just going to have to fight their way? Earning your way into the tournament makes your participation in the tournament itself even more special. So I wish they did that on a grander scale, that they did it for everybody, that they did it on Raw, and they did one on SmackDown, and pepper it throughout the entirety of the company to get eyes on the program and to get people that are interested in this to watch those shows, and to get the people who aren't interested in it already that watch Raw and SmackDown to maybe get interested in it by showcasing a nice little package about each competitor and then having it there. I mean, it would be better than what you're doing with the cruiserweights, so why don't they do that and give this tournament just a little bit more importance? I like to see that it has actually happened. I don't know if we are going to see it or not, so I am going to tell you what happened and who these two females are. So if you don't want to hear that, then just stop right now, because I'm going to tell you in 3, 2, 1. The first was Bianca Belair, who's also known on the independent scene as Bianca Blair, as she picked up a victory over NXT wrestler Aaliyah to gain entry into the tournament. The second match was between independent wrestler Jamie Jamison and NXT's Vanessa Bourne, also known as Danielle Camella, who was the victor in that match and has also earned entry into the tournament. At least that's what I'm assuming, because that's what qualifying for the tournament means. So these two ladies won those matches, and they're going to be in the tournament. They will all join Toni Storm, Princessa Suge Knight the Butterfly, Lacey Evans, Serena Deeb, Sarah Logan, another NXT standout. Those were the ones announced last week, first for the women's tournament. I'm so excited for this, man. I can't wait. I don't understand why more news of this hasn't come about already. Like, July is like gonna be here in a few days, and this tournament's supposed to be happening sometime in July. I would think they would have had the field of 32 already filled out and given to us, but maybe they're just fishing us with the, the old bait and hook. Like, here's a little bit, and then we'll give you some more, and try to keep teasing us to watch the goddamn show to get information about this. But I have got information for you right here. Let's go to the videotape, or the still picture, and we're going to pull up. I made this nice little ditty. These are the women that we were just talking about. I am going to do my best to go around this circle without messing up. And let's introduce everybody to my fans out there. We're going to start in the top left corner, where you see that beastly looking woman with the blonde mohawk. That is the international bruiser Jazzy Gabert, also known as the Alpha Female. To her right is Bianca Belair. Then to her right, giving the nice little shush motion, that pretty blonde lady is Abby Lath. To her right, the youngest looking one on the board here is the black belt in Judokai. Imagine that. Tainara Conti. I hope I'm pronouncing all these names correctly. Beneath her is... what the heck was her name? Let me pull this up. Right, Vanessa Bourne, also known as Danielle Camella. Beneath Miss Bourne, who is property of the WWE Performance Center, is Miss Tessa Blanchard, my immediate favorite to win this match, just based off of her name. The Blanchard name deserves to be on the WWE roster. Never mind that. Can you imagine what we could get between her and maybe Charlotte? You could add a whole... But you know what? Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's keep on moving with these girls before I go off on a crazy tangent on a great angle between the Blanchards and the Flairs, which should definitely happen. To Tessa's left, giving the armbar right there. Let's pull up this name. Who was this? This was Lacey. No, I'm sorry. This was Sarah Logan from NXT. To the left of her, the Harley Quinn looking young lady is Toni Storm, the independent star heavily favored to go far in this tournament. To her left is Serena Deeb, the former Straight Edge Society member, coming back for one last shot at redemption in the WWE Mae Young Classic. Above her is the very Charlotte-esque in the fancy hat, Lacey Evans. I look forward to seeing what this girl brings to the table, and if she is just a Charlotte clone or not, remains to be seen. Above her is Kavita Devi, the great Kali's protege. And I don't know why I'm laughing when I'm looking at her and saying that. I don't know why. Maybe you can tell me why and be nice about it, because I don't think there's anything negative about it, but I just, it makes me laugh when I see this girl's face, and I think of the great Khali training her in any capacity. When, how can she be a protege for somebody who can't wrestle? I don't know, and we're not going to get into it, because if the way she looks in this picture has anything to do with the way she comes off on screen, I'm already terrified of Kavita Devi, and I don't want to say anything that'll piss her off enough to punch me in the mouth if I ever am fortunate enough to have the chance to meet any of these ladies. And finally, we cannot forget the Princessa Fluttershy, Flutter Butterfly, whatever you want to fucking call her. It's really late, I'm sorry, my brain's all over the place. This should be fun. Princess Suge Knight. I don't know how to say her name, and until I hear them announce it and I hear somebody say it, she is La Princess Suge Knight on this show, and we can continue to call her that if you like it. Run with it, go with it, hashtag it, tweet it out to the world. Princess Suge Knight coming to the Mae Young Classic, the happiest and most buttery butterfly you will ever see in a WWE ring. And I'm sorry for all that, but that's just the way I feel about it. And she's fucking great, and I can't wait to see her in the ring. Come on, I'm gonna blow this up. Look at this, come on. Look at his face. Let's blow this up even more. Let's get obnoxious with it. Boom. Come on. Coming to the Mae Young Classic. Madam Butterfly herself. The Princessa Suge Knight. Oh, cripe. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's move on. Of course, as more and more news breaks, we will be bringing it to you live right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and we are planning to go more in depth with all this. I know that was quick and you don't know much about them except the way they might look now, but we are going to do a full in-depth look at the tournament. Once we get all 32 names announced, we are going to have the Mae Young Classic tournament special right here on the channel, so look forward to that. It's coming at you. You see how much fun I have just talking about it. I love the women. I hope this does what the cruiserweights did. Not that it did any good for the cruiserweight division, but it did showcase a lot of fantastic athletes, and it got people contracts. It got other independent talents notoriety to demand more money on the independent scene just because they were featured on a WWE product, and I hope that the same could be said for the Mae Young Classic. Let's move on to another very, very good story that I'm very happy to report. The American Nightmare, the only man in the world that I will be very, very happy to share the moniker of Nightmare with, Cody Rhodes, has become the first member of the Rhodes family to win a significant world title in pro wrestling since Dusty Rhodes defeated Ric Flair in 1986 and ended up at the hospital for his troubles. Cody Rhodes defeated Christopher Daniels in an ROH World Heavyweight title match this past weekend. After Rhodes beat Christopher Daniels at the Lowell Memorial Auditorium to capture the ROH title and set up a rare champion versus champion match next Saturday night in Long Beach, California against Kazuchika Okada of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Cody Rhodes was taken to Lowell General Hospital Saints campus and received 6 stitches in his upper lip. The injury took place early in the match after Daniels shoved Rhodes, and Daniels' head hit Rhodes right in the mouth, which caused his lip to split open. The Rhodes family. This is where Cody Rhodes makes history. The Rhodes family is believed to be the second, only the second, father-son combination to ever hold the United States World Heavyweight titles, with only Fritz Von Erich and Kerry Von Erich. Did I say Fritz? Fritz, like Ritz. Fritz Von Erich was briefly the AWA champion, and his son, Kerry Von Erich, was also, albeit very briefly, the NWA champion. Outside of the United States is a whole different ball of wax. This has happened quite a few times. Outside of the U.S., Brazo de Plata and Son Maximo have each held the CMLL World Heavyweight title, and Dos Caras was the UWA Heavyweight Champion when the UWA was a very, very big promotion, one of the biggest promotions in the world, and their championship was considered one of the major championships you could ever have. And his son, Alberto Del Rio, the breaker of Gothic Hearts, and we will get to that later in the show, who held the AAA, the CMLL, WWE World Heavyweight, and WWE titles. Rhodes versus Okada looks to become the first champion versus champion match of its type since Kojima, the Triple Crown champion, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan, IWGP champion. How do I mess up with 4 letters, but I could say Hiroyoshi Tenzan? What the hell's going on tonight? IWGP champion battled over those 2 titles in 2005. In the U.S., however, the last time that happened was when Triple H, you can say that, no problem, WWF champion, went one-on-one against the ECW champion, Taz, on the April 18th, 2000 WWE show from the Philadelphia Spectrum. I cannot be happier for Cody Rhodes and everything that he's accomplished outside the WWE, and that he's proven to every talent that's sitting on that roster right now that you can walk away from the biggest company in the world and be just fine, if not even better. He's probably bigger and better now than he was in the height of his popularity as Stardust. And he was searching to find himself the whole time he was down there. And all it took for him to find who he really was for the WWE to not listen to him, and for the two of them to not be able to work together, and for him to just get away from the machine and be able to use his name and his bloodline and his legacy, and he formulated this plan, and he became the American Nightmare, and he's taken the indies by storm. And I just recently met the man at the last HOG show. He is an absolutely 100% professional businessman. He was very kind and very gracious with his time. He was super, super deserving of a moment like this. After everything the WWE has put him through and how hard he has worked to maintain his own integrity. And yeah, he did the Stardust thing, but he didn't want to do that. And they didn't want him to change that. So he said, you know what, fuck you, I'm out. And now he's the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and he is the Ring of Honor World Champion. And as immediately as he's become the champion, he is set to make history again, as this weekend, Saturday, July 1st, at the G1 Climax Special from Long Beach, California, live on Access TV. Make sure you get your eyes on this show. It's going to be a 2-day event. I do not know if it's going to be on TV both nights, but I do know it will be on July 1st. It will be on as I am sitting my ass in an HOG show at the Elks Lodge and meeting legendary Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts. This show is going to be going on my television. I will have it recorded, and I'm going to come home and watch it, and we will talk about it right here on this channel. So make sure you watch the G1 Climax Special this weekend if you have Access TV. If not, trust in me, because I got your back, and we will get you all the important news that comes out of that show, regardless what happens. And let me just say before we move on that after watching Okada versus Omega go one-on-one twice this year, and both of those matches definitely deserve to be in the top 5 matches of the year so far, this match may top it. Even with his 7 stitches, it doesn't matter. Cody Rhodes is absolutely fantastic. He is a fucking beast, and he is going to want to put on one hell of a show. This is going to be New Japan's first real showing in the United States, first real push to get an audience and to pull some of the audience away from the WWE, and they got a big name to do that. I had said on a previous show that a guy like Dolph Ziggler would be perfect if he moved to New Japan right now, because they need American stars, because they want to come to the States, they want to come to the US, and it's going to be fucking great. Make sure you watch it. I'm watching it as soon as I get home. I don't care how late I get home from the HOG show. And don't forget to come meet me out there. If you live in New York and you can get over to Queens Boulevard in the Elks Lodge, and you got nothing else to do on a Saturday night, and you're sitting home and you're bored and you got nothing to fucking do, and you got at least $20 to spare, get your ass to the Elks Lodge. Come see your boy Nick Nightmare. Come watch some fantastic independent wrestling. House of Glory's got you covered. We are going to have a great fucking night, and I hope to see you all there. Let's move on to our final story of this show, because, again, this is another one of these stories, almost like, this isn't the final story. I'm sorry. I got to move down in my notes here, and then I can tell you that's why. This is just a blip. This is just a blip on the show, because Paige and Alberto Del Rio are supposedly broken up. So let's all get excited about it. Let's get hot and bothered about it, and let's talk about it right here. SES Scoops is reporting that Paige and Alberto Del Rio broke up last night in Orlando following a supposed spat, causing the former WWE champ to call it off with the former WWE Divas champ. And that's really all the news there is on it. Paige took to Twitter, and all she tweeted out to the world was, "Hey, relax everybody," with an LOL. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to tell you the only thing I take away from this. If this girl walks away from this whole thing and is laughing it off and doesn't react to it the way a normal woman would, whose heart is broken, and she's not grieving about it in any way, or she's not lashing out against him in any way. I know not every woman does that, but it does happen. In this case, it should happen. With everything that she's done for him and everything she left behind to be with him. For him to just up and give her one of these doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I don't like it. And I think the whole thing stinks. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these guys didn't have a connection and that they didn't maybe love each other. I think it wasn't so much love as they just loved to bang each other. And it's probably gotten to a point now where, Paige is looking to come back to the company. Well, I don't know if she's looking to, but they definitely want to get their money's worth out of her. She's still under contract, and she will be coming back into the company at some point. So she's going to have to distance herself from the poison that is Alberto Del Rio. Concurrently, he's going to be a part of Impact. He does not want to have a wife who is going to be part of the competition. Not that it's much of a competition, and not that it's really much of a big deal, but they're never going to see each other anymore. The WWE is going to probably do everything they can to make sure of that once they get their hands back on Paige. They've shown and they have proven to be able to do such things. And I just believe this whole thing was a ruse of some sort. And not that they didn't have some sort of love. Like I said, if you can't stay with somebody for the amount of time we've been dealing with this story if you don't have some sort of a feeling for them. But whether she got tattooed, or I don't care what it is. I think this was all a big work on us. And maybe legitimately she was trying to finagle her way out of the contract by doing all these controversial things and by staying with a figure that they know they want, that she knows the WWE wants nothing to do with. And now here we are. She's on the crux of coming back. They're supposed to be getting married in July. July is here, and now suddenly everything's off because of a sudden outburst by Alberto in public in Orlando somewhere. I think he was just done playing with her pasties, and she was done riding his 12-inch, and that's about it. And she's going to go her way, he's going to go his way, and never again the two shall meet. I could be 110% absolutely fucking wrong. She could be sitting home crying in her milk for all I know. But the fact of the matter is, for her to be telling us to relax about it, for her to go on social media and tell everybody to calm down, means there's either more to this, and that it's going to just be another outburst by Del Rio, and they're going to be back together by morning, and by the time you guys watch this, it could be irrelevant. Or, like I said, this was just her trying to weasel her way out and get them to fire her, but the WWE stuck to their guns, and they're going to get her back to work at some point. And it's just the timing of it makes it very, very weird. Right before they're about to get married, right before the WWE wants to start to have her come back into the fold in some way because they got to promote this fucking movie The Rock's doing with Thea Trinidad, and it's a nightmare. Not like me. I'm a good nightmare. This is a legit, like, bad nightmare. Unfucking believable. And I wish I didn't have to talk about it. But the good thing we can take away from this is if it's legit and they do stay broken up, Paige is going to be just fine. She's going to be just fine. She's going to move on. She's going to come back to the ring. She's going to get her head back on straight. Maybe she'll add something that is much needed to the Raw Women's division. And now we will move on to our last story, which is a surprise return made at a Vancouver house show on Saturday by sexy, handsome Rusev. I'm very happy to see the Bulgarian Brute back in action. I cannot wait till he finally makes his debut on SmackDown Live, and it'll be interesting to see where they put him. The match he had on this night, Rusev faced off against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match for the United States title. So there you go. He might most likely be thrown right back in line for the U.S. title, which is something he's held before. He's probably going to claim ownership of it or something. And not surprisingly, since this match was at a live event, Kevin Owens retained the U.S. title. And as was reported a while back, Rusev has been cleared for action for almost 2 weeks, and it's only a matter of time before he debuts on SmackDown Live, which, like I said, I can't wait for, because I love Rusev. I've always loved Rusev. He's always been one of my favorite guys on the roster ever since he came up and started to make noise, and then they just totally dripped a wet fart with him. The same way they did to Bray Wyatt. They brought both of these guys up in a very similar fashion. A lot of hype, a lot of momentum, both of them being able to beat John Cena on pay-per-view. And then what? Nothing. Years of nothing. Years of teasing them being main event level talents only for you to drop them back down the card with no explanation and for no reason. What, you got mad at Rusev because he got a haircut? Huh? Yeah, it's so bad, a little fucking haircut? We gotta punish Rusev? He didn't ask permission to cut his hair? What are we, child? What are you, in 7th grade? Oh, you didn't ask permission, young man. We have to punish you when you're going to be off of TV now. So, the fuck out of here. And what did Bray Wyatt ever do? Whoa! Take it easy. Back up. Because this has been going on for years, and he's not been sleeping with JoJo for years. That's a new thing. So calm down, people. Before the JoJo incident, what did Bray Wyatt ever do to deserve to be shot back up and down the card like a fucking yo-yo? Yeah, this week you're in the main event, next week you'll be down at the bottom. This next week you'll be in the main event, and this next week you won't even be on the show at all. We're gonna trade you to SmackDown during the shakeup only to bring you back to fucking Raw. They don't know what they're doing with these guys. Both of these guys are money-making machines, and they're just dropping the ball on it. Be that as it may, very, very excited for the return of the super sexy Bulgarian beast, the handsomest Russian in the world, handsome Rusev. I'm also curious to see how it's going to play out with Lana, and if they're going to be intertwined at all, because Lana established her character years ago alongside Rusev, and she's obviously not dropped the accent, because that's Lana. She's the ravishing Russian. So you'll have the ravishing Russian and the Bulgarian Brute on the same show. They're husband and wife, but we'll never see them together again. Now that it makes the most sense for them to be together, Lana obviously being a heel on the women's division, Rusev naturally being a heel in the men's division. Now they make even more sense than ever before, so we'll split them up. And Lana's going to be like a ballet, twirl your dress, Marilyn Monroe, wind blowing up type shit. And, Rusev, you'll be what? Are they sticking with the handsome thing? I don't know. I'm just having fun with it. I don't even really think the guy's handsome, if I'm being honest with you. I think he did look better with the long hair. So, maybe the WWE's not wrong for being mad. He ruined the whole gimmick. But a haircut doesn't make the man makes the haircut. Let's be honest about it. Rusev is awesome, and he deserves to be used much better. And hopefully, this move to SmackDown is going to start just that. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this very, very weird episode of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Maybe it's because it's 12:30 a.m. Maybe it's because I worked like a dog today. Maybe it's because I ate some Cheez-Its. And that's another story for another day. And, I probably shouldn't tell it in public. And if I ever meet you in person, like maybe at a House of Glory show, maybe then I could let you know about the Cheez-Its. Otherwise, don't fucking ask. I am Nick Nightmare. This is Blue, the Snowball Microphone. You have just watched the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. Don't forget to check out all the audio stuff, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, all the usual shit we always try to say at the end of the show. Don't forget to mash the thumbs up. Give us a subscribe if you are not subscribed to this channel right now. What the hell are you waiting for? Especially if you just watched these last 20-something minutes and you didn't subscribe. Let's go. Hit the button. What are you doing? How you doing? And we'll see you next time, as always, on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.